My name is James Williams Jr., and I want to say some things that are important to me. And I've made a couple of videos tonight, you know, letting you guys get to know me a little bit better. And I've mentioned things about my heritage because every now and again I do a heritage video, and I know you guys are probably thinking, why do you keep repeating yourself on these videos and doing these heritage videos? Why is this such a big thing for you? All right, so as you know, I'm 42 years old. I'm part Cherokee Indian on both sides. I'm part black on both sides, and I'm part white on one side. Alright? So I am 190,000% a bona fide fucking mutt. Now, when I was a kid, yes, this is curly hair. It's just got enough Royal Crown and Dollar Tree grease in there. See how it shines? To keep it mished down. Because curly hair is a pain in the ass. Alright? I would straighten it, but I don't want to ruin it forever. So there, it's as straight as it's gonna get. Not a lot of an ass load of grease and a hairbrush works wonders. So, as a kid, now I never knew my ethnic background. I always thought I was black. Always. As I got older and learned how to embrace my heritage, things got a little bit more rough and different for me. So as a kid, I had to always prove my blackness. And that didn't happen until after like a little race war at my little grade school, which will remain nameless. Everybody who's attended that grade school knows who I am. They know the grade school I'm talking about. And I don't know where none of those guys are right now. And I really, honestly, truly don't give a damn. So, as I was saying in my other videos of how my heritage is very important to me, your heritage should be very important to you. You should embrace every part of your heritage. So, let me put it to you in layman's terms. If I was half Chinese and half Japanese, I would embrace both cultures. Not just because of the martial arts that I do, but, because China has a great, rich heritage, not just of kung fu, but of gunpowder and noodles and rice and irrigation. Japan, same concept of fishing and noodles and rice. And then there was that clusterfuck called the occupation of China from Japan and things like that. So, when things like that happen, you have to you have to go with the conclave of embracing your heritage. Now, when I was younger, I would say that I was very much the racist, but that's also because of my lack of knowledge. Knowledge is everything, and without knowledge, you have nothing. So, as a kid, I didn't know that there were more than two Asian countries because they just didn't teach us about Vietnam and Korea and Indonesia or Jakarta. So whenever I met an Asian person, I automatically assumed that they were fucking Chinese. Yeah, racist. Exactly. So I had a fight with a guy. It wasn't a fist fight, but it was an argument. And I can't remember his name. But he was from Vietnam or he was from Korea. And I don't even know how we got to arguing, but we got to arguing, and for some odd ass reason, I told him to go back to China and eat rice cakes. And he came out his mouth quickly. Fuck you. I'm from Vietnam. Or I'm from Korea. I don't remember which one he was. And I told the story before, so that's why I don't remember exactly where he's from. But he said where he was from. I'm like, really? Where the fuck is that? So, if you know anything about geographics on your map, I believe that on the northern end, like northeast or northwest of China, is Korea. And, Korea is either above or below China. And I know for sure Vietnam is below China. But they're not near Korea. So, as you can see, that was like some confusing shit because I'm like, what? So the first thing I did when I got home, I went and got a fucking encyclopedia and found where he was from. And I was like, oh. And I read about it. And it's just like if you go to Cambodia or Laos, they're all Asian, but they don't all speak the same language. And not all Asian people know Kung Fu. So, it's kind of one of those culture shock moments. So, let's get on to my heritage. Now, I'm going to tell you, to be honest, I relate more with my Native American half than I do with my black or my white half. My Native American half has never brought me as much shame as my black half or my white half. And mostly, my black half has brought me the most shame. My white half, the only thing they've ever pointed out to me is that a lot of white people don't like people of color very much, and it's not all white people, it's just some white people. Now, the majority of people are learning to accept people of mixed ethnicity and not being judgmental. But like, okay, well, you didn't ask to be mixed. It's just boom, there you are. God put you right where you're supposed to be. So, you deal with that. And some people are more accepting, and I hate to say it, most of those people are white people who are more accepting of you being mixed. Because most black people, they're like, well, you got one drop of black blood in you, your ass is black, which is cool and everything until somebody on the news is black and they do something incredibly stupid, and then you're like, damn. And I'm not the only guy who says this. I've met other people who are not mixed, who are black, and they're like, the only problem they have with black people is when they have nigger moments and they fuck shit up for the rest of us so that we can't go shopping in a regular store without somebody following us down every fucking aisle. Okay, so now we got that out the way. The only times I've ever really been ashamed to be black is when somebody on the news is black and they've done something incredibly stupid, and then that it fucks it up for everyone else, you know. Now I can go on the news and see white people doing crazy stuff, like that new ride I seen. It's like the opposite of the slingshot, where the slingshot you're in this ball roll cage thing, and they're pulling you down and they rocket your ass into the air. Well, now they have the new one where you're up here and they rocket your ass to the ground with the safety net. Yeah. First thing that comes to my head was, white people are crazy. I love them. I will never try to be on their level because I don't want to be, and they're fucking crazy. They do things recklessly and don't give a shit. And then we have the Native Americans. We can't get ahead. You know, everything that we could have had is gone, and they're still trying to take shit. So it's kind of like, okay, so whose side do you fight on when all three of your races have these issues? You try to be an advocate for every side because you can relate to every side. Now, honestly, I can't really relate to being white. I'm high yellow. Now, that's my true skin color right here. High yellow. I know you're thinking, you got a farmer's tan. I sure do, because I don't believe in long sleeve shirts, except for in the wintertime. And in the wintertime, sometimes this goes back to being high yellow. But most of the time, this is sun turned. Alright? So this is earned by the sun. Not burnt, but earned. So, there are times where I'm dreadfully ashamed, okay? Let me explain this, because it's kind of funny. So as a Native American kid, and not knowing it, my first hero was a cowboy. And then I found out I was part Native American, and it was my biggest shame. I always knew I was black. Always. You couldn't tell me I wasn't black until Miss Conrad came along and changed that. And so did that ass whooping for those bars of soap that I carved up, because Miss Conrad said that I should be the greatest carver because I'm part Native American. Thank you, Miss Conrad. You opened up my eyes to some truths and some lies, but mostly truths. I can't carve rough shit. Okay, and it might have been I just didn't have the right tools, but let's just go with I can't carve rough shit. So, I'm sitting there, and one summer, Native Americans tamed the Mustang here in America, supposedly, and my Aunt Ophiel had a horse named Charlie. And from this day forward, I would always be afraid of horses. So when you feed a horse, you feed it like this. But at 7 years old, nobody taught me that. So I had sugar cubes in this hand, apple in this hand. My thumb's going to start burning soon. Because every time I tell this story, this bitch starts tingling, and this bitch starts tingling. So I got to hurry this up. I fed the horse incorrectly. He bit this finger, he bit this thumb, and every time I see a horse, look at a horse, think of a horse, talk about a horse, they tingle. And it hurts. All the time. So traumatic incidences can keep you afloat. So my ex-girlfriend and I, before we broke up, we went to her neighbor's house. and they had some colts, and she also had horses. So I'm dreadfully fucking afraid of horses. And she's like, well, you can't be afraid of horses. You're part Native American. I was like, what the fuck does that have to do with anything? I got bit by a horse, and it hurt. Every time I see a horse, my left hand has two members of it that just tingle and burn. I mean, it's like somebody set those bunches on fire. And I'm afraid of horses. So I was like, if I was any kind of descendant of any Native American, my ancestors must have been scouts. They traveled on their feet, and they carried a bow and arrow and a knife, maybe a spear. So, yeah, I'm a little bit afraid of horses. Now, let me give you the disadvantages of being part Native American and part black. When I go to fill out job applications, there's a little issue of them not believing that I'm black. I was born in 73. So in 73, there was no multicultural writing on the birth certificate. If your daddy was black and your mom was white, but her birth certificate says black, guess what? Your birth certificate is going to say Negro too. And that's what's on my birth certificate, Negro. So when I fill out an application, I put down black. You do not understand the looks that I get when I go into a place to fill out an application and I put down black. And it's usually from black people who give me the look. And they're like, excuse me, yes, you marked down black. I'm black. Are you sure you're black? I don't know what damn color I am. I'm black. You don't look black. I was like, okay, look, I'm multicultural. I'm actually black, Native American, and white. So technically I'm all American. But my birth certificate says black. If I put anything else on there than black, it's grounds for you to fire my ass. So I put down black. Now, every time I go to someplace to fill out an application, it's the same shit all the time. You're like, well, you're not black. Are you Mexican? I'm like, no, I'm not Mexican. It's like, are you sure? I'm like, I know what I am. I'm not Mexican. It's like, well, I didn't really mean to say Mexican. I meant to ask you, were you Filipino? Are you Hawaiian? He's like, dude, if I was Hawaiian, there's no fucking way in hell I would ever move to the East Coast. Ever. Now, even if I wanted to see snow, I'd take a trip to Alaska for about a week and then I'd come the fuck back to Hawaii because that's where I would want to be. It's like, yeah, okay, so what do you mix with? Okay, that's another one that I have to explain to people almost all the time. And generally, I have to explain that one to mostly white people unless they already know me. If they already know me, I don't have to explain it. But when it comes to black people, I rarely have to explain to them what I'm mixed with. Because they'd be like, well, we can see that you got Cherokee in you or Indian or whatever. And it's like, are you sure? And I'm like, what else would it be? It's like, well, you might have some Asian in you. And it's like, yeah, they're called Cherokee Indian. You're like, Indians? Okay. So here's your history lesson, everybody. For the people who don't know, and you can go check this up on National Geographic Explorer. And if that doesn't help you, you can find my friend Inquan Kim, who completely and totally embarrassed me way back in college, back in my 20s. And he goes, he seen me working out. I was mastering my bow staff or whatever, just whirling that shit up at the basketball court at Piedmont. And he barreled ass up there, and I'm thinking, uh-oh, somebody's coming up here to fight. No, he wasn't coming to fight. He was coming to see who the fuck I was, because I apparently was getting down and showing off. And he got up there, and he saw me. He's like, I'm sorry. From all the way over there, you like you were Chinese. It's like, yeah, I get that a lot, but I'm not Chinese. He's like, well, what do you mix with? I said, man, I'm Cherokee Indian. He said, well, you know Indians are Asian. I was like, no, we're not. We've been here for 1,000 years before the white man ever discovered this place, which is also a misconception. We may have been here for 1,000 years, but the first person to discover America discovered it from the West Coast, and he was a Chinaman. So there's always a good chance that Inquan would be right. So we got into this big argument, and I've done this video before. Take me to the library. We have all these books, and we got like 3 encyclopedias, an Native American history book, and a dictionary. So if you're an indigenous American, like me and my ancestors, if you're part Native American, your ass is Asian. I'm sorry if this hurts your feelings, but you are. Now the worst part about this is that uh, before my dad died, like about 8 months before my dad died, I found out that Native American citizens didn't have American citizenship, but yet they've been here for 1,000 years, and then they get in citizenship in like the 30s or the 40s. I was like, what the fuck kind of crap is this? I'm gonna make a second part of this because I'm at the 15 money mark. I'm James Williams Jr. Conflict Havoc 2. Williams out.